Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. Today's video is a very special one as we are going to start a series in conversation with Sahiba with the very first episode from doctor to designer. Hi Sahiba.
Hi.
It's lovely to have you here and to discuss in detail your complete journey.
I'm glad to be here too.
Alright, so just begin. Do you remember that exact moment when you decided that dentistry is not for you?
It wasn't a moment, I would say. It was an everyday feeling actually. I was running a clinic in Delhi, and I used to feel very monotonous. No offense to all the dentists who are watching, but it was a very like you have to do the same thing every single day, and I think I would pin it down to not having the right education counseling back then. So 90s kids, I think everybody would relate that you only had doctors or engineers. Yeah, so if you were good in studies, you were bound to become a doctor. So dentistry is what I landed upon, and I had in fact done advanced courses on endodontics and surgery, and it was a good space for a while, but then eventually you want to settle down with your own clinic. Until the time I was practicing in hospitals and places where we had a lot of doctors and everybody was working together, it was good. But when it came down to me running a clinic, I think it was me sitting in a clinic in a four wall area where I would just see couple of patients in a time. And when you have a high-end clinic, the number of patients would also not be like in a hospital earlier, so I would feel very monotonous doing the same thing every day on a very few patients. And first I would walk back to my home every day feeling that this is not something that I'm happy with. This is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life, walking to a clinic and just sitting there. And I was feeling very confined and limited. So I wanted to do always two things. One, being creative in whatever I do, and second, hopefully meeting a lot of people, both of which I was not getting in what I was doing. So I thought, let's explore more, let's do something more creative. And then I was writing back then. So writing was my only creative corner that I was having that time. And I used to freelance write for a lot of projects, different projects, fashion, lifestyle, blogging, and commercial projects for websites and all of those. And that was my only creative corner. And that is how actually I could even, quit dentistry and have time for myself to find what I really wanted to do. That's when I first tried fashion designing in a different way. Like styling people online is what I started. That didn't go very well, and then the next thing was to either become either explore interior design world or become a lifestyle YouTuber. Thankfully, by God's grace, we are doing both YouTube and interior designing right now, and I feel touchwood really blessed to be in this space. But so it wasn't a moment coming back to your question, it wasn't a moment, it was an experience that it was a feeling that I had continuously for quite a few months before I quit, and thought that we'll see what happens next, but this is definitely not something that I want to do every day for the rest of my life. And that is when I quit, and then I had some time to think over, then eventually came to interior designing.
So how exactly did you transition here? I've heard this story, but did you always thought about it, or accidentally you've just chosen this as your path?
No, it wasn't an accident. So like I said, online fashion styling is what I started with zero knowledge about business. I started with a Facebook page, the name of which I'll not take right now because it's still very much there. But the concept was to style people online basis their their budget, their occasion, and their how they look and what they wanted. That didn't go very well because I didn't have much business knowledge around it, and I thought that that was also very good luck, I would say, or whatever. But I figured out very early in stage that this is not something that would work out. So that also, I think, is a blessing, because a lot of people put a lot of time and money into something and then they realize it's not going to work. But I realized early on that this is not going to work. YouTube, I didn't start back then because, again, less knowledge, less equipment, started with zero scratch. So interior designing, I had a natural liking for. I was naturally gifted around it, and I started with doing balconies for our friends in Delhi. So that's how I started. So you know, whenever you start a business, you don't have resources, you don't have obviously leads or clients, and there is somewhere that you got to start. And I started with doing balconies, styling balconies for people.
Very true. Baby steps are very important.
Yeah, they are. So that's how it started, and then we ran a campaign on Facebook for interior designing. So I did a lot of, we'll come to that later, I guess. I did a lot of learning, and then we started taking projects, and then there was no looking back, thankfully.
Yeah.
Hi guys, we have the winner for the question of the week game. The very first winner for this is B. Sahiti. Congratulations. And for those of you who haven't won, please don't be disheartened. You'll always get the next chance.